change for the better.
with the sight of a heart.
That's right. And far below the ripples form,
And noticing how,
indicating that
as
something's
that pond
happened.
is filled
And
even deeper,
even though
levels
the
where the
ripple
stones
began from some time
have come to
ago,
rest,
it begins
and
to
noticing
spread
how the knowledge seeps
until
into
encompasses
those new behaviors.
everything.
Haven't they already
Everything.
begun to amaze you in new, wonderful ways?
Present
Goodbye to all those
and future.
past, all of that.
Putting things
way of
together
being.
just the way.
Now into the future.
That's right.
Notice the difference.
That's right. You can,
And as you look
notice one thing
to
that
another
relaxes you. Or
place in this
two
meadow,
things that comfort you.
you see that shaman
Or
that is there.
three things you can now do better.
And as
than
he's moving
before.
ahead, wandering in new ways,
That's right.
wandering around through all
Find the
those
path.
thoughts. There
The
you
path
go.
that makes sense for you.
He tells you one last story that seems to
That's
pull
right.
it all together
now.
in new ways. With your
That's
eyes
right.
closed, he suggests
Shifting,
that you allow your eyes to
Changing.
shift up to looking through
Rolling
the brow chakra, rolling up
now.
rolling up your eyes, and then noticing there's a
Feel the
chakra
energy
known as a
shift.
third eye chakra. And as it opens, they call it the psychic eye.
That's
Opening
right.
now.
See clearly. With senses awakened.
And looking through this third eye, it's as though you
Right.
can see through the building, as though there's a skylight further out and
All
even
the
further
way
out,
there.
through the clouds, through the sky, and even
Boundaries
further,
disappearing. Horizons pushed back.
moving further out
Much more
across
space.
that space and time and that
Much
piece
more time to
of this universe.
relax.
And
Remain
noticing the
comfortable.
face of the moon.
That's right.
In many traditions, they talk about
Senses extended in
This
all
emotional
directions.
attachment
Bringing
to the
accurate
moon.
information.
Much
New
like
thought.
that, as the relationship
New
between the moon
New
and the ocean
sensations.
waves swelling
And new
and
behavior.
flowing with new ideas. But as you look out through the third eye, noticing
Using inner vision,
to see further away,
inner development.
go there now.
The
Notice
things you need to see
that in some
clearly.
traditions they talk about the man in the moon. In the Native American tradition,
The
in many
face.
tribes they talk about the grandmother moon
As you
in
notice,
control
you
of
can begin
all
to
of your emotions.
notice something that attracts
And when
your
they meditate
attention.
like this, through the third eye, connecting to
be
the eyes
A nose, a
of
cheekbone,
the grandmother moon,
a chin, or
the thoughts can
eye,
transfer to
perhaps.
the moon, and she can
All
send back
you need
wonderful
to do
feelings
is
reflecting off her surface
allow it
when you
to
connect
happen.
your eyes this way to her eye.
Allow it to happen now.
And notice how she sends you
Love,
exquisite, wonderful
warmth,
feelings
pleasure,
penetrate deep inside
comfort,
those new ways of
safety,
being,
and all the way
into
you
a
can
new way.
change.
And you might even notice her smile,
And
a little
as
smile or a
the
pause of
music
laughter.
changes for just a moment.
And then when you make that connection and you
notice
feel those
it's
wonderful feelings being
time
sent
for
to
a
you,
change.
look through the third eye,
All the time you
connecting
need
your eyes to
now.
the eyes of the grandmother moon,
Take in
and
the
notice
information in a relaxed and casual way.
As you make that connection,
Because you're changing now.
look out, and
faster
the
than you
connection
ever
is so
thought
powerful
possible.
and so profound
You can do it
that if
easily.
you were to test to
and
see that
then
your eyes won't
instantly
open, you can test,
notice that
and then when you just relax,
you know how to
after
go
you quit
into
testing
trance.
them, it sends a
You
wave
can do that now.
of these wonderful feelings
all throughout your
from the
body.
top of your head to the tips of your toes. There you
All
go. Relax
throughout
it all the
your
way down
mind.
to the toes.
Feeling wonderful. Getting better and better at this, that. Shift into new states.
There it goes.
New places of
Into those new ways.
opportunity.
Feeling even
and
nicer.
pleasure. Because you might surprise yourself to find just how you put it together.
Integrating
Perhaps
all
you won't be
those
surprised at all.
positive
It just happens
changes
without you even having to do anything
in
at
behavior
all.
that
So
are powerful and useful
you may as well
for you.
allow it to happen in ways that work
And as
better
the
than
shaman
before.
tells you another story,
Breathing
it's as though
in
he's telling you the story
and breathing out.
from reading parts
Breathing in
of the way you
beautiful,
move
pure
through time.
energy.
And it's as though
And breathing
he's
out,
flipping back through
breathing
the story
out
of your life,
hesitation.
flipping through the pages, going all
to
the way back,
let go.
way back
Enjoy
to
the
that
ride.
time where you can
Going
remember
back in time
being playful
to
as a
find
child,
the time
having the
when you
playfulness to play with the
use
best
your
of these
mind
ideas
to
with a sense of
have
humor
fun.
and curiosity.
feel good.
New ways of exploring this.
Enjoying
Aren't you?
this. That's right.
And what I want you to
Living.
do
Playful mind of a child.
is, what would it be like
And
if you were to actually once
Imagine.
again float outside
just imagine
of who that was
Floating.
you were, and notice
Dreaming.
the breathing,
noticing and
and notice the
learning.
walking,
That's
and
right.
notice the exquisite tonality
That's right.
of when you were floating
Feeling
into
good.
that space between pretend,
Moving now
moving through
into that
hypnosis
space.
in new ways,
Put it in there deep
playfully,
and
because it's fun to play
have
with
it
the best
in
of
just
these
the
ideas
right way. Because
in new
as you
ways.
move through the world
And
with
notice how it completely
fun.
feels like your
large
hologram is
energy,
now walking
Relaxed.
completely like
a tourist in the
Oh,
carnival
man.
of life,
of playfulness,
and
walking
wondering
your baby back
what
home,
comes next, and
feeling that
just
feeling,
how good
and
can
hearing
this
that
be?
internal dialogue. Because,
Yeah.
ooh, what a wonderful change this seems to,
Starts to say, yeah,
and feel as it
I'm
vibrates.
liking this. And
Just feel as it moves
You
all the way
want
in. Notice as you move
more
from
of all
heel
the good stuff,
to toe.
and none of the old
Notice the
stuff.
people smiling and how your
Pay
mind
attention to what's
Smile right
happening
back.
all around you.
moving in and
Trust
out.
that the large and friendly universe is
And then take all
Here
those
to help.
wonderful resources and whoosh, float right back into you in a nice way.
making you
Take a deep breath. Bring the
Back.
breath of life all the way in through the nose. And charge it as you exhale with the resources that you need.
breathing life into
Oh.
the image,
Notice the tingles on the
sensation.
finger, the sensation.
and now the reality
And
of
as you walk in
who
that
you are
new
becoming now.
way,
Only in the
do
ways
it.
that work better than
into
before.
the future, confidently.
Let the rest
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Go
And what
now
if you just
deep
reached in and just
inside
grabbed the
and-
knob and
That's
cranked
right.
that baby all the way
That
up?
feels better.
Or like they say in Spinal Tap,
Yeah.
these babies go to 11. And that baby's pegging. And what if that was the least
Sometimes you
amount
can
of pleasure,
Understand.
confidence,
It feels good to
and
feel better.
wonderful feelings you could
That's
ever
right.
have. And so let's
Confident
crank it
in
up,
your
and it goes to
learning.
1 and to 2. Just
Confident
crank
in your
it.
capabilities.
Just
And
kick that
more.
baby out
And
again.
more.
All the way up
All the way up.
into your new way of being. There you go. And if you think about these things in new ways, as you breathe, you can move through a new life
New information.
and a new wonderful you.
Breathe out old
And it's like you got that new car
Like
smell.
your
You know,
heart.
like when you just get into that
beats
test ride
and beats.
of like just a wonderful,
And
exquisite car of your choice.
Pumping
Except this
blood
new model is
And
you.
oxygen to the tips of your fingers.
And notice how
To the
wonderful it feels.
Tips of your toes. Circulating new thoughts.
Positively,
New ideas.
in new ways.
New sensations and new behaviors that work for you.
Naturally,
The funny thing is, you already know how to do this. And all you have to do is relax. Get out of your own
let
way.
it just flow.
Let it happen. Becoming you now and then better.
And when
Better.
you see someone else in the future that's walking and moving through this space and time we call the spaceship Earth.
That's right.
Right
here, right
You can
now.
actually just notice what it would be like to walk
What
like
would
them.
it be like to
Just in that space.
walk like
in
them?
time. And then
What
you just
must they be thinking?
notice how when you find a
What
wonderful
must they be feeling?
feeling that
What
you can integrate.
opportunities do they see and
Ooh,
take
yeah.
what you want?
And notice how when you
Keep the
integrate
change.
that in new ways,
Go ahead, buddy. Keep the change.
crank the juices up.
Oh, yeah. Because it's all here for you.
And the only way
You're the one. You're the
up.
one it's all
and
about.
remembering, what if you were to walk
So you can
and see someone who
feel
had
free
one of
to
those wonderful sense of humor?
take only the good parts and leave the rest
And you
behind.
can actually enjoy it in a whole
far
new
behind.
way of being
Away
there now and
being
into the future.
now into the
of it.
future. Feeling better.
That's
Doing
right.
better.
And then you might even wander into the thoughts about how surprised are you going to be in the days
Understanding.
ahead and the weeks ahead, feeling that
Making it
rocket
your
back,
own.
pushing you into that
Each time quicker.
magnet and beyond
time
the change,
deeper.
haven't you
Each time better
Already.
than before.
begun to notice
The past is gone.
And
The
the
future is
here
becoming
the way
that
you now have wonderful tonality
taking the
inside?
tools, the lessons and learnings,
And
all the examples, all the things you need to understand
integrate themselves
in just the right way.
in just the right level.
Like pieces of a
except
puzzle.
a little bit more
Each has its
to
place.
make you feel even
And
more
As you
powerful.
Snap each piece into place.
And exquisite.
Notice the picture becomes clearer, brighter, bigger,
and you float right into it.
better than before.
And notice that.
Step right into it. Unafraid.
All around you.
Hesitation gone. Knowing that, all those good feelings are stuck. You'll just have to be this way forever.
And a day.
That's right. Take it all the way out as far as you can, and then
go another day or two, maybe a week.
That's right.
What if you breathe in a little bit more humor and play with these ideas?
Geez.
Go out another week.
That's right.
Then a month. Ooh, what about those months roll into years? Looking back onto now, as having been the place. You take it out 2 years,
double
3
it
years,
again.
4 years, into the
forward,
future, and beyond the change.
All the way around.
Noticing how, it feels wonderful. Just turn up the juice
knob and all the
and just
way
let it
up.
vibrate through all of who you are.
Yeah, right up the spine like a signal from God.
Ooh, yeah.
That feels pretty good. Sometimes it's the simple things that you need to pay attention. And sometimes it's a more complex pattern that emerges over time.
And it's just as simple as when you breathe in deeply, gently, easily.
Remain comfortable.
Keep your head balanced.
That's right.
It might adjust and head to where your body and head
Feet down.
balances perfectly.
Oriented correctly for
Resting gently.
your future.
As though it has a gyroscope.
That's right.
Holding it right there perfectly.
Doing all the things. All the things.
There you go.
That's right.
Into it all the way.
All the things that's right for you.
And isn't it wonderful to know?
Because each
now,
example
and into the future,
each exercise,
each time,
have
you
given
want
you a
to go
learning
into trance,
and understanding that
or you want us to
put
take
them
you into
into
trance
place.
on the journey of your mind.
Inside
You
a
can go
roller coaster,
much faster and deeper
the
than the
amusement
time
park of
before.
life.
Because this is
And
the
it's all
theater
for
of your
free.
mind.
You can just
You are the
hop on
player.
and go
You
for the ride
are
on the
the
tilt-a-whirl
director
of
and the
life.
producer.
Notice
future.
things whirling and changing,
And sometimes
and feeling
all those
better.
Can be just exquisite, wonderful,
And better.
pleasant movies
No,
that you get to play with.
finding the ways to just close it all up. Because it's yours now. What once was inside us is now inside you.
And there it goes.
And it's free and easy and fun to change.
And as that shaman,
for the better.
a master of change,
It
gives you
begins
that
to-
symbol, whoosh,
He
that
says,
you can drop
that's it.
into those wonderful
That's
avenues
right.
of change.
Because you
now
know
and into your future.
nothing can harm you.
You can actually go
Nothing can stop you.
gently
Nothing
and
can
easily
rattle you.
up the path. And as you look
As you
back,
feel
you notice the
the
shaman
natural rhythm of moving through life
taking the book
in a
as
relaxed
though the book
and
on your
casual way.
goes out into the future.
Confident that
And notice
your
how
unconscious
the
now
story
is your friend and
into your future,
will always give you what you need
doesn't it?
in just the way you want it to happen for you in all the ways that
And you can go here in your
feel
own mind,
good. Now,
and you can allow the
I don't
connection
know
to come
if you will begin to
back
drift
from Grandmother Moon.
and back, down.
And you can go and visit her anytime you wish to charge up with
you want
those wonderful feelings.
You can return all the way back.
And then just relaxing, breathing
enjoy
gently
the experience and feel the things changing now, and putting a lid on it so that
it's as though you move back up.
Snapshot. Yeah.
And the meadow will remain right where it is.
And
this is your mental resort.
All-seeing eye.
And you can resort to this mental imagery anytime.
Relax.
You choose to go there.
And close down.
Recharge or gain.
Pulling all the way
the
back inside.
Of change.
Making it your own. Your own unique way.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Realizing it's time. Time now to return all the way back to the room.
And perhaps you can start to get a sense.
You can return all the way back to the room.
Of your feet beneath you.
At the rate and speed.
And the people that are next to you.
That you admit you are the one who knows how to do this.
That the person who returns to the room is a different and changed person
in the way
from the person
that you wanted when you decided to come here
a few
in the
short
first
days
place.
ago.
And all you have to do is
keep the change.
That's right. So take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath.
Feel the energy returning all throughout your body.
And come all the way back.
All the way back now. Relaxed.
And isn't it wonderful to know that you can feel that sense of energy?
Feeling fine in
increased
every way,
energy, but calm energy.
Knowing
coming
that
back
you've
into the
got
room
it now.
all the way up.
All the way back, eyes open, wide awake. Wide awake, feeling fine, in perfect health, and better than before. And how was the trip? Welcome to Mark and Steve Land. Yes, you were waving your hand there, Tristan? What? Yeah. Right on the threshold of sleep is where your subconscious can make anything possible. It can make anything real, because the conscious mind just goes on vacation, it drifts off, and all that's left is the subconscious mind and the sound of our voice. We're the tour guides. We're the ones who've been there and come back and said, hey, here's the shortcut, right? And when your subconscious learns to like these experiences, which doesn't take too long, right? Then it starts to say, okay, I can help. And it injects in all the detail you need to make it real. Pretty cool stuff.
Or as Einstein said, the only distinction between the present, the past, and the future is a stubborn illusion. So choose your illusions well.
They're all saying, okay, now what? Well, you know what? It's going on 3 o'clock. I think we pretty much hit our overall hit list. Is there anyone here who still feels some type of unwarranted fear or hesitation? I didn't think. You? Well, what did you do when you felt it? Once you notice the onset of whatever the negative feeling was, what did you do out of all the things you've been taught this weekend? Did it work? Well, then what did you do out of what we taught you? Or did you just give in? I know the answer to this question. Yeah. Okay, so just go back in time. Use your imagination, go back into that same place. See the girl standing over there. Only this time, step outside yourself. See her, see you. Notice how the other you is standing there feeling old things in old ways. And what's the distinction between what you know how to do and what he's doing? What's the advice that you would give him as though you were giving advice to your very best friend? And when you know that, step back into that self with the attitude of, I'm the guy who likes to take really good advice. And then open your eyes and tell me what's different. And as you took your own advice, what happened? Remember I was telling the story about the guy comes in with his battered Yugo, I gives him the Ferrari, and he goes back to take another crack at that ditch, right? If you don't use the techniques, you don't get the benefit.
And you can stack these more than one at a time. Like if you took the 3 points of attention and you actually went in, close your eyes for a minute, go back, rewind, all the way back to just before that happened. And what if you look over at it, float outside yourself, and actually what I want you to do is float to that other position where you're playful. I mean, where you just going to do this for the fun of it. And then notice, holy shit, I know her. That's that long-lost friend. Holy shit. And then all of a sudden, I have so much to tell her, man, and just jack that juice up. Just crank it way up, over the top. Notice how it just fills your body to where you're just going, holy shit, I can't wait to get over there and talk to this. And then go on over there with that kind of enthusiasm, just to shake her hand and introduce yourself. Then take that and go, float right in, and notice how that other illusion goes away and just dissipates. Now see yourself going forward. Okay, what you want to do is play with the things, though. You know, it's kind of like I told a couple of you about my kid who does the skateboard thing. His dream is to jump off the roofs of schools with this damn skateboard. I don't want to see this shit, you know? And, but, I mean, the kid, he plays with this shit even though he's at 5 stairs right now because, you know, the guy that holds the record for Dirk, whatever his name is, not Manley, the other Dirk.
There is no
for
other
jumping
Dirk.
out at, like, that stunt guy, he just died. You know, he was like 3... Yeah, but he died of a heart attack or something. Maybe it was too high, the last one. But he held the record for like 350 feet or something. But No, just jumping. He was a stuntman from Los Angeles. But what he did was he was talking, like he would do seminars to these other stunt people. And he says, look, you don't just start jumping, free-falling out of a helicopter and land and live. He goes, what I did from the time I was 4 years old is I started jumping off of steps. Then I started going to tables. And he goes, I jumped anything from 100 to 1,000 times to where it was like I just stepped off it. Then I'd go to the next level, jump off, jump off, jump off. And he goes, until I knew I could make that just as though it was making one foot in front of the other. The point is, pretty soon he was going off of roofs. Then the roof got higher. But the thing is you got to start with one step and just start taking the steps and pile it up. And slowly, you know, he become the record holder of it.
Don't take a new technique and go zooming immediately to the point of your greatest challenge, okay? Because what you're going to do is you're going to rehearse frustration, right? So, I mean, yeah, it may be that you've got it, it works perfectly first time, in which case, okay, cool. But I mean, life goes on. This is not the only woman you're ever going to meet in your life, so you probably ought to start practicing it all the time, including in areas where it makes really no difference at all. Because what you want, remember I was talking the first day about precognitive behavior? Okay, do you really want to have to stop and think about which technique am I going to use? Okay, in the meantime, what happens? I mean, the universe has got this clock that's ticking, right? And when you go inside your head and you say, okay, well, what was it Mark and Steve said, and how was I supposed to put my hands, and where does that voice go? In the meantime, the whole fucking world has moved on, right? So what you want to do is practice doing this stuff reflexively. And the only way you can do it, or the only way I know how to do it effectively, maybe this is one of my limitations, but the only way I know how to do it effectively is to just do it all the time. Never stop. Never quit. In every situation I'm in, we're using these tools all the time, which is partly why you see me bouncing along like I'm having a good time. You know, it's like I'm walking through. When I'm here, it's a day at the office, okay? But when I'm out in the cafe, jiving with the hostess, trying to see if I can talk her into spanking me because it's Mother's Day and I'm a bad, bad boy, I'm at the office, you know? I mean, this is what I do for a living. This is how I lead my life. If I had to wait and stop and think about what is the correct thing to do, the moment passes. Right? There's this thing, author named Carlos Castaneda wrote a really interesting series of books about Yaqui Indians and sorcery and things like this. And he talked about this concept of the cubic centimeter of chance. And one of the great challenges in your life is to train yourself to be aware and in the moment all the time. So when that, I mean, you know what a cubic centimeter looks like? It's pretty fucking small. Okay, so it's going to floating by. And when you notice it and you have the presence of mind to grasp it, that's when magic occurs. Because you can seize the moment and make the difference, right? But if you see the cubic centimeter of chance and you go, wait a minute, at the Montreal seminar, what was the technique for the cubic? I mean, it's like, there it goes. I mean, it is just freaking gone.
My cubic centimeters, they make eye contact with me. And that means, come play with me, Steve.
I thought it was if they were within the sound of your voice, they'd volunteer.
Well, that's all they cover their eyes. I'm flexible.
If I can't see them directly, we move to criteria 2.
I don't give a shit. I like to play.
There you go. So, who else? Anybody else? Yes, sir. Okay, we're... Oh, so now you're into regret. So we get the fear and hesitation out of the way and say, okay, I'll freeze up space for regret, right? No, I don't think that's exactly the path. How long ago did this thing bust up?
9 years ago.
9 years ago. Okay, so you spent 9 years practicing regret, right? You spent 3 days practicing new techniques. In the overall scheme of things, how does that weight out? Right? Maybe you won't get everything in a clean sweep in the first attempt, right?
I might offer a suggestion. There's also a series called Hypnotic Awakenings.
Something like that.
That has a Healing the Wounded Heart. It's a real good exercise for exactly what you're describing, where you take the lesson, you know, listen to that, go through the exercises there.
I hear he's pretty good.
I know him personally. And as a matter of fact, you can even ask him to autograph it.
Autograph your own new copy. Yes, that's right. Own now. That's it. Yeah, see, the thing is, left without simple, clear instructions, your subconscious will default to whatever you've rehearsed the most. And if you've been going on, I mean, regret is like one of the most useless emotions ever, right? After you've indulged yourself fully in regret, what positive outcome do you have? So she broke it off? Okay. Pretty much a big fucking idiot, wouldn't you say? No, her.
I think so, yeah.
She gave up you. Okay. So, since she's this big fucking idiot, are you allowing her to make all your financial decisions now? Mm-hmm. Did she pick out your new car? Did she tell you what to wear, who you can be friends with? In fact, you didn't take her advice on any of this shit, right? But you're going to let her control your emotional life, right? It gets even worse, okay? How much time over the last 9 years has she regretted breaking it off with you? Okay, so you're probably the last person in the entire fucking universe is thinking about this, right? Okay, so here you are, you're pouring all this emotion and time and energy into it over 9 years without any real positive outcome. Okay, how long do you have to do this before you figure out the lesson? What's the lesson? Sometimes the lesson is don't do this anymore, right? Okay, so how long would you have to go through the whole regret cycle before you got it?
Well, I mean, I think it's moved on a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Still there's a little bit of background thought. I guess the worry that I have is that the regret that I have, or the regret that I feel, has potentially something more.
Yeah, but see, that's like sitting around for 9 years and going, she might have been the one, right? Well, she dumped your fucking ass. Chances are she's not the one, you know? I mean, it's like, let's look at surface criteria here, right? You know? You know, we joke about it, but when you say that, you know, you've got this regret behind the scenes or operating behind these other things, I mean, where is this behind happening? It's all inside your head, isn't it? Okay. Now, when you take, say, quieting those internal voices, okay, or you take the advice I was given yesterday about how, you know, leading your life outside your head is sometimes a benefit, okay, what would it be like if you get your perspective out here so you can see things more clearly? That's one of the things people had on here about, I want to be more aware and in control. Okay, well, you open your vision up, or you learn to pop out for just a second and take a real good look, unencumbered by all the crap he's thinking about. Okay, it's easy to be aware. I mean, it's astonishingly easy to be in control once you realize that other people can't control you, right? You're giving away an enormous amount of your power. Okay, come up here, young man. I got a simple exercise for you. A simple exercise that will change your life forever. Remember who you used to be?
Yes.
Forget that now. Okay, now, here's what I want you to do, okay? I want you, first of all, take a good look at this chair. See this color purple? Okay. I mean, it's kind of a muted purple. You can actually jazz it up. In fact, if you wanted to imagine a bit more vivid purple, you probably could, right? Okay. Now, what I want you to do is, you know how to go into trance, right? Okay. I want you to just go ahead and close your eyes. Feel that trance state beginning so that your legs can stay strong beneath you while your mind goes all the way down. Because I want you to imagine one of these times that you started feeling that sense of regret, that bittersweet tinge of, oh, geez, I'm going to torture myself with this for a few minutes, okay? But I want you to imagine that every time you feel that sense of regret, that you're actually leaking life energy. You're leaking your very life force. Because when you think about it, when you're doing that kind of regret, you're really feeling weaker than you were before, aren't you? Now, I want you to remember this color purple. And I want you to notice that as you remember that time and feel that way again, I want you to imagine that the energy streaming out of you is the brilliant color purple so you can see it clearly. I want you to tell me where on your body you can sense and feel and see that energy flowing out.
Oh, through here.
Yeah, okay. Now, would you say this is a slow drip, or is it a steady stream, or is it like the fucking Niagara Falls?
Sometimes it's like the fucking Niagara Falls.
That's right. Okay, and when it's like that, what does it feel like?
It's heartbreaking.
Okay, now I'm going to show you something really, really interesting because he's leaking the energy from right in here. Now notice as I move my hands in a healing fashion over your body so that I close off that space entirely. I close it off to negative impact and negative feelings and negative actions, but I leave it open for positive input and positive sensations. But none of that beautiful purple life energy can slip out now. I want you to try and feel that regret again. What do you feel? Can't do it. That's right. Because when you keep your energy, you say strong. When you keep your energy, you say masculine and in control. And what I want you to do is imagine that the stream, that plume of purple energy that used to be leaking, I want you to imagine I'm going to take the Mark Gnosis scissors and just cut it right there. So that's it. And you're keeping all the rest. And you're generating more inside. You have more life energy coming in all the time. But now you can't leak. So it means you've got more and more and more life energy, just whoop, that's right, feeling much better. And if you were to try to think about that ex who made one of the world's most idiot decisions 9 years ago, and she's off having to lead life with someone who just isn't nearly as interesting and fun, or certainly not as sexy as you, okay? Now, yeah, that feels a little bit better, doesn't it? Now, what would happen if the next time you found yourself slipping into that old habit, and you go, oh, geez, well, maybe Boopsie was the one. You go, wait a minute. Close all that down. Feel the energy returning, and then try to feel that bad again. What happens?
Again.
Just fucking gone. It's very important for you to maintain your own energy, because when you plug up all the leaks, what's left is a wonderful vessel, a vessel that contains all that you are, all that you will become, and a vessel that you can ride into your future. Serene, rocking in gentle rhythms, and this time, because you've got it all inside, you've got more to give. And you know what? It just feels better. It's a simple way of navigating. Some people use the North Star. Some people use a map. I steer according to, is this better or worse? And when you look at it that way, well, you look at your old behavior, and is that better or worse? Yeah, okay, you're feeling much better than you did, right? Now, how many times would you have to experience this before you know you've got it?
One.
That's right. So say thank you and sit all the way down and feel better.
Thank you.
There you go. In fact, let's do this, because I know so many people who are giving away their entire fucking life while they think that I'm large and in charge and I'm in control, right? How many here get knocked off balance by people in their life? Raise your fucking hands, okay? All right. But the thing is, does that make sense? Does it make any sense at all? Someone comes up acting like an absolute screaming asshole right in front of you, and you get upset? All right? They ruin your day. Have you noticed how many people there are who run around being filled with negativity, and once they get you to feel that way too, they cheer up? Have you noticed this? Honest to God. It's like, I have ruined your life for today. I feel pretty fucking good. I could check that off on my list, right? Well, the thing is, most people aren't aware of when they're losing energy. Most people aren't aware of it until after the fact. How many of you, honestly now, how many of you can honestly say that I notice when I slip into a negative state, when I notice the onset of the negative state, and I can just nip it right in the bud? How many can say that? You can? So you have no negativity in your life whatsoever. Okay. So you guys are doing pretty good then. Okay. Yeah. Well, the other 40 guys have to figure it out yet. Okay. So this is really what this exercise is all about. What I want you to do is pick a partner, take them into a trance any way you want. Steve's been demonstrating conversational methods. I've been demonstrating the much more overt methods, because that's how we agreed to split the whole shit up, okay? But I want you to take your partner into trance any way you can. And the thing is first of all, I made sure that he could actually imagine a color purple, right? I mean, it's like, do not assume things when you're doing trance work, okay? Because, I mean, honest to God, you will occasionally run across people who are colorblind, okay? Which means telling them to imagine the purple, their eyes pop open and they think you're an idiot hypnotist. And in fact, they are very, very correct, right? So, you want to make sure, yes. Yeah? Yeah, you can do anything you want. Okay, make sure that the subject agrees with it. He didn't have any objection to purple, right? Okay, yeah. Any color you want. But I would check with your subject and find out, okay? Because, I mean, things come up. I was talking to a client one time, and she was like, you know, feeling this mild anxiety and all this, and so I was zapping her down into a trance, and the body was going deeper. The mind was floating higher and higher and higher, until there she was floating amongst the clouds. She jumped out of the chair, started screaming and sobbing. Okay, I took her from mild anxiety all the way into raving paranoia, okay? And it turns out her husband had died in an air crash, okay? Well, I didn't do enough probing about where this anxiety may have came from, so I inadvertently made things worse, and I had to go ahead and make things a whole lot better, right? It's probably better to have them pick it. I wouldn't describe it as life force, though. I would say if you were going to have them pick their own color, I would have them pick the color that represents who they most truly are deep inside. And notice, because that's what you're doing, is you're betraying yourself when you allow somebody else to steal your energy. Make sense? Right? Okay. Take them in a trance, have them imagine one of these times when they're having a challenge, whether it's a difficult situation or a difficult person, and then have them notice where on their body do they see this energy streaming out, or not this, or coming out, and then ask them, see the color, and then ask them, is it dribbling out? Is it running out? Is it like a river? How would you describe it? Now, I knew he was going to have a very strong reaction because he's been regretting this thing for 9 years, right? So, anyway, you find out where in the body it is, and then take your healing hand. Okay, now as it happens, I've got a resource hand, I've got a healing hand. This is just the way my world works. I draw in energy with this, and I anchor it all to my wedding ring. I take all the positive resources in the universe, and I anchor it to my wedding ring. And this is my resource hand. Okay, makes Cassie happy too. Okay, but then over here, I've got my green amber ring. Okay, green amber is extremely rare. It's traditionally a sign of healing and power. And so I have it on my dominant hand, this is the hand I use to affect the universe. And so given what I do for a living, this is my healing hand. And I went over to where he was losing the energy, and I began cycling it and closing it and giving the suggestions that this can no longer be open. And as you cut off that energy, feel how your own energy inside begins to restore, lift, come back in balance. And now after you shut off that streamer where you're losing the energy, try to feel the bad feeling again, and they can't. They can't, because in their mind, the bad feeling and that loss of energy is one and the same. And when you cut off the energy loss, she cannot affect you ever again.